Hello everyone and welcome back to Coaster Extra, where we are back on the Seaside Park for episode 2, and I'm just going to start off by mentioning the names that people have decided for the coasters. So the wooden coaster is now called Wooden Flyer, and the spinning coaster is now called Spinning Spritz. Thank you to both of the people who suggested those names, and yeah, they're really nice names and I think they really suit the park, so thank you for that. Now we've got straight into it, building a Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster, and this is going to be the largest coaster in the park. As you can kind of tell already, it's pretty huge and it's going to take up a lot more space than it already does now. So yeah, this has taken up a big chunk of the land that I have in this park, so I've got to be really quite careful of space at the moment in this park while I am building stuff. So you can see here that I've created the basic layout so far. It goes up about 130 foot lift hill, then goes down a more than vertical drop into a sidewinder, then a vertical loop, and then a banana roll. And now you can see I've just put it into a block section here. It curves round and then, wraps around this piece of track, which would provide a nice head chopper as you're going down that sidewinder. Then you can see here I bank it into a 0G roll, and you can see that I'm using the prefabricated inversions here. That's because I don't want this coaster to take 10 years. Yeah, so we are just building this now. I just smoothed out that little helix there, and you can see we're wrapping around. The ride is losing speed, so we're just kind of wrapping and finishing off the ride. You can see that curve goes straight into a little airtime hill, then another banked curve, and I make it way too tight at the start and then reduce that down to a reasonable level. You then go into a little banked airtime hill into the finish, which through smoothing becomes very small, but it would give a little pop of ejector anyway. And yeah, there we go, that's that coaster's layout finished. And you can see now I'm selecting the track colour, which I decided to go for a nice blue. And yes, I will need names for this coaster. I mean, I thought of one, Tsunami. So, let me know your thoughts on that. If you don't agree with that, let me know your name. And who knows, maybe I'll pick that instead. So yeah, leave your names for this. I'm sure someone will come up with a better one than Tsunami. That's quite a generic name. Anyway, you can see me building the station here. I try and put these medieval iron columns in, regret it, and change those out for more basic white colours. And I have quite a hard time deciding what the roof is going to be of this. And I start off by kind of using this wave-like design, which I thought was okay, but looking at it from a distance, I changed my mind. So I went for a more tiled roof, but I think it fit quite nicely. It's a bit weird to fit with that modern theme, but I think from a distance it actually looks alright. And it's Planet Coaster. You're never going to get the most intricate detail into a building unless, again, you're spending 10 hours on it. So I didn't want to do that, and I've come up with a quite generic station. You can see me adding in some more cross pillars here, which just bank around, and then I add in one final support pillar to each part of the pillars that I just put in. I'm sorry, I do not know roof terminology. If you do, well done. I don't. You can see me just putting a path around there, and I have trouble because Planet Coaster's pathing system is hell. And then I decided to put in the queue line, which is this kind of bluey coloured queue line. And you see I bank it around there, do a little bit of cattle pen, and then realise, oh god, this is too close to the wooden coaster. And then Planet Coaster's pathing issues kick in again, and yeah, we're back into this pain. But I managed to do it, which is a huge achievement. And then I get more issues with putting in the exit, so fun. and I decided to delete the path, put a staircase. I don't know what I'm doing. This Planet Coaster pathing system is difficult, but I managed to actually get it, which, yeah. And here's the POV. Okay, so there was the POV for that Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. I really hope you enjoyed it, because I think that's quite a nice layout and it's pretty decent length. So yeah, you can see me now putting in the entrance signs for these coasters, and you can see wooden flyer and spinning splits put on those, and then I've just left the one for that coaster blank, and I will fill it in obviously next time. Then I'm thinking of putting in a flat ride, and I have a hard time kind of deciding what one I want. So I try like every different flat ride in the game, finally deciding on the classic zipper, which I may have spoke too soon to say that, because it takes me like 10 years. Anyway, I think this is it. Oh, this is the moment. Yeah, there we go, I've placed it down, and there's my decision to keep that. You see that I just put in some cattle pen queue line there. Have a bit of a hard time with Planet Coaster's pathing system again. This day was really not my day for Planet Coaster. But yeah, you see me just connect up the queue line there, square out some of those edges, and then I can't do the last one because Planet Coaster. And then yeah, I just add the entrance sign for that ride, and I call it kickflip because it's got a sign in the game and it looks nice, so I just put in that like pre-plastered sign there, and you can see that I just put the path just round there, tightly hugging that queue line because we really want to maximise space now we've got a big coaster. And then I decided to change the colours, ending up going for a sort of pink, purple, green colour scheme. You can see that there. And now I'm putting in a fence to block people from getting into the ride area of this wooden coaster. It's not anything major, but again, it's a seaside park. It's never going to have the best safety regulations compared to a normal theme park, which would need like 15-foot tall fencing. No, here we've got a simple wooden picket fence, and I am just hugging that tightly to the support structure of the wooden coaster, which, yeah, is just an incentive for people not to go and climb on those wooden supports. I border that up to the fish and chip shop, and then connect that up to the entrance sign of the new Infinity Coaster that I made. I decided to just right angle it against the path, and then decided kind of defeats the point of a fence, and I ended up connecting it up to the entrance, like I said. Then I decided to tackle spinning spreads, which I really didn't have an idea of what fence I wanted to use here, and I just ended up going for the most generic fence in the game. It's just a white iron fence. It's boring, but it is what it is. It blocks out the area and, you know, stops people from getting hit by the coaster. And yeah, so the fence goes in. This is a tad bit boring, but hopefully some more interesting stuff will follow in this episode. And then in the next episode, I've got some big plans for the expansion of this park, including adding in a log flume and possibly another coaster. I haven't decided on that yet. I'm going to have to think. But yeah, now I decided to tackle the station, which was hard for me because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of just started putting some colourful panels in to sort of match the colours of the ride, and then I just I put 1 meter ones in for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking making the station. I put in the archways. And then the stripes didn't line. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what I was doing with this station. And as weird as the walls are, I think I am going to leave the walls, but the roof I will need to change in the next episode, because you're about to see the absolute monstrosity that I've put in thinking this was acceptable. It was not. So I put in the striped roof. That bit's somewhat bearable. And then I experiment a bit and put in this weird dome. It is just it's so out of place. I don't know what I was doing. Like, I even go down to ground level and it just looks awful, but I keep it. I do not know. I put some signs on hoping that would distract it, but yeah, probably next episode I'll go for a roof change on that building, because it looks awful. Anyway, I then decide to add a little sign to the side of a wooden coaster, because it's kind of reminiscent of that classic cyclone sign on the Coney Island's Cyclone, which is one of the most classic wooden coasters in the world. You know, it's when people think of wooden coaster, that's usually one of the first things that comes to mind. But yeah, obviously I adapt that to the name of Wooden Flyer, which I think really stands out from that wooden background, and I really do like it. Then I decided to tackle those ejector hills, because after watching it go round a few more times, I quickly realised with this restraint system, you would be absolutely pummeled to space. So I dampened those hills down, and that's going to conclude the episode there. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.